Welcome back to the Millcreek Government Channel. I'm Jessica James Stutzman. The Association of Junior Leagues International has evolved into one of the oldest, largest, and most effective women's volunteer organizations in the world. The organization encompasses more than 150,000 women in 291 leagues within 4 countries. We are fortunate enough to have our own local chapter, the Junior League of Erie, which has worked very hard to build a better Erie since 1925. Joining us from the Junior League of Erie is the President-elect, Nicole Buzzard, along with Junior League Committee member and Director of Community Impact for the Erie Philharmonic, Lisa Herring. Thank you both so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for inviting us.
Well, the first thing I want to get to, if somebody, one of our viewers is not familiar, is what is the mission of the Junior League?
The mission of the Junior League, we are an organization of women committed to promoting volunteerism, developing the potential of women, and improving the community through effective action and leadership of trained volunteers.
And so you guys have been actually around a long time, but the Junior League is part of a larger international organization. So what are some of the differences between the local chapter and then that larger organization?
The larger organization is here to assist the local chapters. They focus more on a broad range of topics and things to bring to the leagues. They offer us different training opportunities. They offer us the ability to look into different activities. One of the things that they brought to attention recently is they've been focusing on bringing awareness to and combating human trafficking and poverty. There's many leagues in the nation that have been focusing through government channels and creating laws and just promoting awareness of human trafficking and how it is actually happening in and around the community here in the U.S. And it's not just something that's overseas. So that's been a big initiative and push that the international organization has kind of focused on. Our league independently has focused on other needs of the Erie community.
Do you guys ever find, like you said, with human trafficking, do you ever find that, I think our local chapter is really passionate about this as well, we're going to take this one on too. Does that happen a lot?
That actually has happened. When I first joined the league, probably about 8 years ago, they had done a program, it's called Kids in the Kitchen, and it's a healthy initiative to combat obesity in children. And the league here decided that they wanted to see that be part of the Erie community. We took bins and a program into local schools and after-school organizations, including like the Girl Scouts of America and the JFK Center. And we'd go in and we'd put on little trainings with the kids that were fun. They were just different stations that they could go through, and some of it would be on how to do healthy eating, maybe how to we'd do a snack there. That would be a healthy snack. And then we would also do like a fun activity so to get the kids moving around. And that was one of the initiatives that we brought in. They also have their own cookbook. Some of the different junior leagues have also taken initiatives and done cookbooks, and they do a swap of different cookbooks and sell them in their areas as fundraisers.
I think those are two really important. I know you guys do a lot more than the two you just mentioned, but I think those are some really important initiatives to bring awareness to. I think that obesity in America definitely is something that we should worry about and try to fix, and like all the things that you've done to help combat that. And then human trafficking is something honestly, I don't know if I'm just very sheltered. I honestly didn't know that actually happened in the United States. And I know that sounds silly, but that is something, I can understand why they're so passionate about it. That is a really scary topic, but it's something that we need to bring to the forefront as well.
Yeah, they work on a lot of topics that a lot of people are afraid to talk about, don't want to talk about, don't like hearing that it's happening, but it is something that's happening close to home, and it's something to focus on. The human trafficking, unfortunately, our current league demographic's not where it needs to be to kind of help do that initiative. We don't have enough active members right at this point to focus on that like the national level is. So we have our focuses in a couple different areas right now.
Absolutely, and we're going to get to some of those, but the first thing I want to touch on, and I always think this is a really fun question to ask, there are some famous women throughout history, throughout the country, who are a part of the Junior League, both, again, nationally and locally. Can you share with us some of who those famous women are.
Some of the famous women is, of course, the founder of the Junior League, which is Mary Harriman, and she was from the Junior League of the City of New York. She was also very active in the consumer rights movement, and she was a chair of the Consumers Advocacy Board of the National Resource Administration under Roosevelt's administration in 1933. Someone else that's really famous is Shirley Temple Black. She was a member of the Junior League of Palo Alto. We have Julia Child, who was a member of the Junior League of Pasadena. Margaret Hamilton, who was the Wicked Witch of the West.
Oh, okay.
She was from the Junior League of Cleveland, so not so far away. Katharine Hepburn was of the Junior League of Hartford. Eleanor Roosevelt was the Junior League of the City of New York. There's a ton of notable First Ladies that have been Junior League members over the years in different locations. Both Bushes First Ladies were in the Junior League. Mrs. Ford was in the Junior League. So there's a long list of very notable people. And then locally, some people that names might get recognized is Dr. Maureen Barber Carey, Cynthia Murphy, Susan Hurt Hagen, and Marlene Moscow.
Okay, and I think some people do probably recognize those names, and I do love bringing up, the First Ladies too. It's nice to get a national face sometimes associated with these organizations because you think, oh, they joined, I want to join. You know what I mean? So, but how long has the Junior League Erie been a part of the Erie community?
We've been a part of the Erie community since 1925. We incorporated in 1933. We've been focusing on projects that are just unmet community needs for women and children, and the flexibility has enabled the Junior League to meet a wide variety of needs in the community throughout the years and adapt to the changing lifestyles and interests of the community of women volunteers. We've had a slew of projects that people might recognize. Historically, we have Santa's Castle was a fundraiser. It wasn't necessarily a community impact, but that was a large thing in the community from the 70s, 80s. I think even went into the early 90s. It was a huge draw, and people loved it. We still get questions from people, where's Santa's Castle? Are you doing that again?
Do you know where that event was held by chance?
It was held in different locations.
Okay.
I don't think it was similar locations. I believe the Boston store may have been one of the locations.
Sense. Okay.
That Santa's Castle was in, and now we still have some pieces of Santa's Castle. Some of our sustaining members currently house some of that, just in case we would ever need it. We haven't.
We might resurrect it.
We haven't. We haven't gotten rid of everything completely, so it's still there that it could be done. Something else that is very historically known was the Children's Theater Troupe. They had put on their peak performances, they put on 68 performances a year. So it was a very large production, and it was something that they did for a very long time.
And the members were the actors in the performances, is that right?
It was the Children's Theater.
The Children's Theater, okay, so they organized it, and then the children were the actors.
Yeah, I think it could have been a combination. I don't know a lot about the Children's Theater Troupe. I just have read it in all of our historical documents, and the attendance to all of them were very large. So it's nice to see something in the community.
Yeah, absolutely.
That they were very involved in. But we've also been involved in, we've initiated or partnered with TREC, which is the Therapeutic Riding of Erie County, the Spitz Planetarium, the Experience Children's Museum, Hospice of Metropolitan Erie, the Shriners Children's Hospital, Erie Adaptive Sailing, also known as EASE, Blasco Children's Library. We did the Kids in the Kitchen, Baby Go Round, the infant campaign, which is flathead prevention, and Healthy Zoo, Healthy You. Those are some of the more recent ones that we've been involved in the community.
Right. And I did read online about one of them, the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. I thought that was very interesting.
We partnered with United Way when they brought Dolly Parton's Imagination Library to Erie. They had an imagination ball, and we thought it would be fun to have a live auction. It was only one live auction item, and it was ours, where we would create a reading nook in a location of someone's choice out in the community, where underserved children could actually come, be safe, be in a comfortable area, and read. They could be with a parent, they could be with a caregiver, brother, a sister, and they could just have this nice area that was dedicated just for them. We've done 2 reading nooks in the Erie area. One was from the Imagination Ball, where we raised money for the United Way. And then the other one was a separate donor that came to us and the United Way saying they loved the idea and they were really interested in help funding another one in the area.
And it's so important that kids read at an early age and feel safe doing so. And I know, sometimes when children read out loud, it's very nerve-wracking, or they might, stutter or stammer. And I think, having safe places like this to read, I think that really helps them overcome those fears and any of those obstacles they have. So, and then the last thing I have that you guys have done recently in the community are the RAVE Awards.
The RAVE Awards is recognizing achieving volunteers in Erie.
Okay, so it actually stands for something. Okay.
Yes. The RAVE Awards is where we recognize different volunteers in the Erie area. This was actually an event that used to go on years ago, and we resurrected it about 4 or 5 years ago and started it up again. We started off with recognizing a company, an adult, and a young adult, like a teen award winner. The next year, we went to recognizing an adult, a teen, and a kid. And we've kind of developed from there. Last year, we had a adult, a young adult, a teen, and a small child.
And how are there different nominations and then one person's voted on, or how does that work to get to that person who wins the award? We
send out requests to different organizations, nonprofits. Through the community, we actually partner with Get Connected for the RAVE Awards. And in that partnership, they help with reaching out to local schools, just all the nonprofits in the area, and ask for submissions. We then get the submissions for the different categories. We have a committee that does a first review of them, and then what we do is we have an independent review committee.
Okay.
So people outside of the league that have nothing to do with the program get to review. 5 lucky people. They've been very nice to do it over the last few years, and they do the review. We have a set criteria on which they're reviewing, and then after that review is done, it comes back to that chair, and they organize the event, put it together, make sure everybody's there, and friends, family can all witness. And we celebrate everybody that's nominated. So even if you aren't the main winner at the event, you're still mentioned. What you're doing in the community is still mentioned. You're still, it's a very good thing to recognize our volunteers. Because they don't always get that recognition.
And I think sometimes when you recognize, or when you bring these things, with these good projects that people are doing, or I think when you bring it to the forefront, it's like, oh my God, I had no idea this was even going on. So it's nice to bring those to the forefront and share them with the community.
And there's a lot of community members that'll come because they're with one organization and they'll have never heard of many of the other organizations that are being represented in the room, and it's kind of fun to intermix and mingle with them. Absolutely.
So it's like a networking event of sorts too. And so the other project that's really special to you guys coming up is, and that you worked on all year, is the Music Takes Action event. Is that right?
Yes. Our initiative this year is we are focusing on literacy through music. And in that, one of our members has written a grant program. She's part of the Erie Philharmonic, and she wrote a grant program for some early education work that she's been doing in some of the different preschools in the area. And in that grant, she was awarded from, I believe it was from the state. And with that award, the centers have to raise extra money to match the funds that they're receiving. And what we have signed on to do is try to assist them with that. And let's say Lisa knows a lot more about the event than I probably can give.
Sarah is and has been helping the Philharmonic for the past few years with education outreach. She started with a Grow Up Great program, which is early education, and she goes into the classroom and brings them instruments and brings them musicians and gets them to explore even a little bit. They're only 4, they're only 5, but it's still really important to get their minds going and get them active in what they're doing. So Sarah's been doing that. It was a small, like 6-week program, and we applied to the state of Pennsylvania for a large grant, and this program is now 20 weeks, and she visits 3 classrooms 3 times a week. So she's going to the same classrooms every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and she started like the 2nd day of school. So these kids had never been in school before. They're in, 4 or 5-year-olds, preschool, early education, and she's now a part of their routine. They wait for Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, and she comes for half an hour, and they get to play games and read stories and explore a little bit. Last time I was there, she was rapping and doing the alphabet, and they all had made these little palm trees out of this book, and everything is based off of singing and listening, and that goes into instructions and knowing what to do and how to follow directions. It started from here's how we stand up together and here's how we sit down together. It's been really cool to be able to watch the progression of when they're the first week in school to now, into October. Things are very different than they were at the end of August, early September. So it's been a really fun program. And with Sarah being involved with the Junior League, they're very gracious to help the school match the funds to get programs like this. So
yeah, and with schools, having such a tough time with their budgets, and you always hear of, just even around the country, art programs or music programs getting cut. This is so important to have music in schools. I think I've heard it not only helps the kids focus, for their other studies throughout the day. Do you think that she's seen that as well, that trend?
Absolutely. The school is actually 99% either at the poverty level or below. Of the 3 classrooms, one of them, there's only 2 that really speak English. And so to go in there and sort of tackle these big issues, it's really kind of crazy. I mean, I've never really seen anything like it. It's the St. Benedict Early Learning Center. It is in the heart of downtown Erie, and even just pulling in when you're driving next to the school, these kids they're so excited to be there. And I have so much appreciation for that school and their administration and the things that they're doing. They do a lot with not very much, and to see all of these students have people, and they bring people in to help them speak their language so that they can learn English. And they're so little. They probably are more fluent in English than their parents now, with all the migrants and people that have ended up in Erie. So we couldn't be more proud of the project and the things that Sarah's doing. And it's so important. It's one of my things. I'm a previous teacher, so it just pulls in my heartstrings a little bit. I just love it, and I'm so lucky. I get to go take pictures every week or every other week, and take some videos, and just get the community involved, because it's so important for these kids, and they love it. Their faces just light up. It's really cool.
And so, what aspects of music are being brought in? Are instruments or maybe classical pieces that they have to listen to? How is music brought into the classroom?
It's a musical journey, and so they started, at one point in time they were in the ocean, and they did One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish from Dr. Seuss, and then there's always an art portion of it too, so they were looking at different Monet paintings and things of different fish, and then that went into the colors, then that turned into another project of that, and when they read the story, they're talking about reading the story like to be even, 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish. And so it gives them to not only say it back to you, but what they don't know is they're actually starting to talk in rhythm, and then that will turn into singing. So it ranges anywhere from instruments to singing to learning about the orchestra. One of their culminating events will actually go see a youth concert, which is more meant for maybe 3rd to 5th grade, but she's taught them how to be good audience members. So it really goes from singing all the way to actually seeing a live Philharmonic orchestra. And last year the kids were just so excited, and they had only had a 6-week program. So I can't imagine with a 20-week program what they're really going to get out of it. But every week is involved with a story, and that's where the literacy comes in, which conveniently ties very well into your Dolly Parton, the library thing too there. So
it does. It's a very
fun.
Holistic approach to teaching and to bringing both reading, art, and music. I threw in art, but I didn't even know that was a component of the program.
Yeah, and she does it every week. And when it's so interesting to see. She's brilliant when she does it. When the kids stand up, she has a song about a circle, and it's just a song, but now the kids know it. And so every time they stand up, they sing a song about a circle. And they didn't know it, but at the beginning, they didn't even know what that word meant, and now they do. So she has very interesting ways of getting every single component to have literacy. They have packets that they have, and they're working and moving and dance, working in groups and doing stations to get them really active. And then one of the coolest portions is she's actually coordinated to have professional development for the other teachers. Since we're in 3 classrooms, there's a lot more other classrooms in this school that never really have the same benefit. So there's been 2 sessions of professional development for the rest of the school. So hopefully we're starting to affect even more people. Last year we were affecting just a couple classrooms, and now we're affecting more classrooms more times. And then we even get to have the opportunity to go to the whole school level and help all the other teachers learn the ways that she incorporates this to teach them about reading. I mean, singing is reading, just with a little bit of music behind it. So
that's so
fun.
True. And I think you're right. I think after so many weeks of doing this program, by the time they actually get to, the concert, I'm sure it's built itself into this really big, field trip that they're very excited for.
They are. They're so excited. They walk into the Warner Theater and their eyes just light up and they go right up. I mean, most of these students probably don't even know what a theater is. They've never been to the Warner Theater, and they might not ever have that opportunity. We don't know. So our goal is to not only reach them now, but to get them excited about it, so that when they do go into another school, they're actively looking. We've given them a better step in the community towards reading and writing and being social and being acclimated to this type of an environment. And we have youth concerts that we do every year, so hopefully, in a couple years we'll see them a little bit older coming back to the concerts.
Oh, I'm sure you will. And so is the Music Takes Action event, is that a yearly event or a one-time event?
This is the first time we've ever had this opportunity. This is the first time, and I believe it's the first time a direct nonprofit like the Erie Philharmonic has received this grant from the state to go into St. Ben's that wasn't through someone like Erie Arts and Culture. So we're excited because it's the first time we actually get to have a little bit of ownership of it and do it our way. So we're excited that it's the first time. And the Junior League, hopefully it turns into something. I mean, the Philharmonic does a ton of outreach events every year. So yeah, I mean, I think it'd be great if it could, but this is a one-time event, kind of our kickoff starter, and anything we raise goes directly towards this project in St. Ben's and this school specifically. So we're excited. It should be fun.
Sure. And so if they miss this particular event, if they're not able to attend, how can they help out in other ways?
They could help out they could still send donations. If they can't make the event, we'll always take a donation that we can direct towards the program in and of itself. And we're hoping to maybe do this more than just this year. Maybe being able to take this kind of event, the Music Take Action event, and push it towards other programs, or maybe doing this program at a different school, making it a larger, broader initiative.
Sure, of course, and I would love to see it happen again next year so we can, help promote it and keep this going throughout the years. The next thing I wanted to ask you actually about for the Junior League, getting back to the organization itself, how did you become a member of the Junior League, and what would somebody who's interested in being involved with your organization and this wonderful mission, what would somebody else do to get involved?
I joined the Junior League because my friends were actually involved in it. I had a friend that was invited to a meeting, an open house, and she went and joined. And a year later, she likes to say that she sucked me in. So she got me to join, and it's just been a great way to have friends. And it also is a great way to just impact the community and know that you're doing something and you're a part of something. We actually hold 2 events a year now as an open house, so that people who are interested in joining the league can come and check us out. We'll have tables on our past projects, things that we're working on currently, and some of our fun development items. And hopefully they'll see who we are, what we do and meet some of our members and like us enough to come back. We also, our meetings are open, so if anybody would ever want to attend one of our general membership meetings, we look forward to anybody that would like to come. Our meetings are monthly and they're the first Thursday of every month, and we're actually at the Watson-Curtsey Mansion. We're headquartered there, and our meetings bounce between the Watson-Curtsey Mansion itself and the carriage house that's back behind that they use for administrative purposes, and that's because they have internet capabilities over in the carriage house, and that way we can kind of hook up and do what we need to do while we're there.
Sure, yeah, and that's so fitting. Your organization is so historic, and for it to have its meetings in a historic building, that I think that's a really good partnership, as well as your one with the Erie Philharmonic here. We don't have much time. I know our viewers probably want to learn so much more. If we didn't get to cover something that they're interested in learning more about, where can they find out more information?
They can find out more information by going to juniorleagueoferie.com. We also have a Facebook page that you can visit us on, or they can always email the president at president@juniorleagueoferie.com, and the current president will get back to you as soon as she's able. One of the things that I wanted to just mention quickly about the event, the Music Take Action benefit concert and after party, that is actually going to be held on November 30th. So it's coming up soon. It'll be at 7 o'clock at St. Stanislaus. Did I say that right?
Okay.
That's where the concert will be held. And then directly after, we'll go back to St. Benedict's Early Learning Center, and we will have an after party there, and the maestro from the Erie Phil will be there as well.
Wonderful.
For a meet and greet, so it should be a great event.
Good. Oh, I absolutely think it's going to be. And I'm so glad you guys could come on the show with us today. Thank you so much for being here with us. Folks, I think that you are going to really benefit from going to their website, or even just stopping down to the Watson-Curtsey Mansion and checking out their meetings and joining as a new member. So make sure to go to their website, to their Facebook page, check out their events and fundraisers. You won't regret it. And until next time, have a wonderful day.
You're watching the Millcreek Government Channel, powered by WQLN Public Media.